Tonight on Grady Newsource, a live report on the race for a little-known commission with an important role in people's lives. The No Kings protest took place in Athens on game day. We'll show you how football tailgaters were met by protesters holding signs and handing out stickers. And we'll take you to Porch Fest, where people listened to local music and learned about the historic porches being played on. This and more coming up on Grady Newsource.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication, this is Grady Newsource.
We begin with breaking news out of Atlanta, where authorities say a tragedy has been averted with the arrest of a suspect who threatened to shoot people at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport. A 49-year-old Cartersville man was taken into custody at 9:54 a.m. inside the South Domestic Terminal. Atlanta police were first alerted to the danger by the man's family, who called the Cartersville police at 9:40 a.m. to say that the man was heading towards the airport in possession of an assault rifle to, in their words, shoot it up. The man was unarmed at the time of his arrest, but an AR-15 assault rifle with 27 rounds of ammunition was recovered from his car parked outside the terminal. No one was injured. Terroristic threats, criminal attempt to commit aggravated assault, possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. We'll continue to follow the story and bring you the latest. And now we turn to early voting in Northeast Georgia, where people are casting ballots for city council members, mayors, and more. They are also voting for a statewide position few people know about. Grady Newsource reporter Laurie Ruby joins us from the Athens-Clarke County Elections Office. Laurie, why is the Public Service Commissioner position so important?
Michaela, the Public Service Commissioners oversee companies like Georgia Power. The PSC's decisions directly affect how much Georgians are going to pay for things like their electricity bill, phone bill, and natural gas. So if you pay any of these bills, you will feel a direct impact on your wallet. I spoke with UGA political science professor Audrey Haynes. She told me the PSC is primarily a regulatory body. They provide oversight, like I previously mentioned. They also set utility rates to determine what is fair and reasonable for consumers to pay. They review and approve major utility plans for the construction of new power plants, and they establish and enforce quality standards.
Thanks, Laurie. Who is running for this position?
There are 4 candidates running in 2 districts, as you can see on the map. Most of our viewers in Northeast Georgia will fall into District 2. Everyone in the state votes on every commissioner, so if you live in District 2, you will also vote on the candidates in District 3. In District 2, which contains all the counties we cover here at Grady Newsource, is Tim Echols, the Republican incumbent, and Alicia Johnson, a Democrat. Tim Echols has served on the commission since 2011 and is a major proponent of alternative energy sources. He believes carbon-free nuclear energy combined with solar is best for Georgia. Alicia Johnson, the Democratic candidate, says if elected, she plans to push forward the transition to clean and affordable energy sources, such as wind and solar. And she's pointed out that none of the current commissioners are customers of Georgia Power. Both candidates say keeping utility costs low is a top priority.
And what are the broader implications of this race for Georgia?
I spoke with UGA political professor Charles Bullock about this. Here's what he said.
Activists, those who follow politics very closely, are always looking for any kind of hint in terms of, well, is Georgia still as red as it was? Is it becoming a bit bluer? What is it? And this is going to be the only election which is going to give some hint at that.
The results of this election could prove important in how political campaigns plan their future strategies in Georgia.
Thank you, Laurie. And many are already thinking about the key local elections coming up in 2026. The Athens Area Chamber of Commerce is working to educate the next generation of public servants, and the Political Leadership Academy is a new program doing just that. Grady Newsource reporter Sydney Palmer shows us how.
For residents like Allie Bill, running for political office means more than just filling a position.
Family's been here for over 30 years. I grew up, even though my parents are divorced and I was, came here for holidays and special occasions to be with my dad.
which led her to attend the Political Leadership Academy, an educational opportunity for residents like Bill who have a passion.
I think many really good people have had an inkling of an idea about perhaps running for political office, but it's easy to talk yourself out of that.
And are seeking more information. And this initiative is the first of its kind in Athens, Clarke County.
I came into Athens in 2018. I was running a couple chambers in North Carolina for the preceding 18 years. We had just orchestrated something a little similar to this in North Carolina. I thought it was pretty powerful.
The initiative focused on the role of public service rather than party affiliation.
The best politicians I've had the chance to work with over the past 30 or 40 years have been politicians who aren't defined by being a Republican or a Democrat. They're defined by being community oriented, or at least driven by their constituency.
You are working for the public. You're working for every member of the public, young and old, rich and poor, of every color and stripe and religion and class and background.
And it really is people coming with an open mind. I loved how they kept saying we work for the people. The government works for the people, because I think in every day, that's not, I'll speak for myself, that's not how I always see it. It feels kind of like it can be a very selfish, self-serving thing. And I think that's what draws me to, if I were to go into politics, that's what draws me to it.
And joining us live in the newsroom is Grady Newsource reporter Sydney Palmer. Sydney, for those of us who missed the Political Leadership Academy, what should we know about being a public servant?
That's a great question, Mickey. Thinking about public servant, we were all given this handout by the mayor of Athens, Clarke County on Saturday, and it really outlined what is the most important things to know about being a public servant, starting off with defining your policy goals. Mayor Kelly Gird says that is the most important thing before devising a marketing strategy. You should really understand what your policy entails. Next, know your role. Understand the powers, responsibilities, and time commitment of your role. And next, know the org, the budget, mission statement, legal landscape, and protocols. And next, show up. In person, countywide, district-wide, make sure you're showing up for the people that you're serving. And last but not least, he says that it's really important to listen to everyone, because in this race, you will be getting to know everyone, refining your goals, learning new things, and really stretching what you know. So these are the important things that Mayor Kelly Gird says is important to know about running for public service. Back to you, Mickey.
Thank you, Sydney. The government shutdown is in its 19th day. The shutdown's effects are beginning to be seen. Secretary of Energy Chris Wright said in an X post Monday that America's Nuclear Security Administration has begun furloughing employees. Over 7 million people gathered at the No Kings protests Saturday, according to organizers' estimates. Grady Newsource reporter Sylvia Stafford shows us how concerned Athenians participated on the day.
Georgia fans on Saturday may have been surprised to see an unusual tailgate near the arch. This protest was called the People's Tailgate and was one of 3 demonstrations in Athens for No Kings Day. Organizers estimate they drew in around 4,500 participants. One of the most common issues raised was the Trump administration's approach to immigration. Iva King, a member of one of the organizing groups, said the main purpose of the protests, though, is to bring visibility to their fears in general.
I would really like to see, before the end of my lifetime, our country turn back around and be heading more towards a healthy democracy.
Because of the location, many Georgia football fans walked through the protest. Some clapped and whistled, though others disagreed.
Go King, baby, go King!
Republican lawmakers called this protest a Hate America rally. King disagrees and says they try to address this with their signs.
We put on one side says No Kings and the other side says Love America. That really is why we're doing it.
Trey Hood, who studies Southern politics, says that President Donald Trump is acting like a king is a little exaggerated.
Just about every president in the modern era has tried to push executive power, push the envelope of executive power.
Though Hood also says that this is a good way to keep visibility on these issues.
If you want to protest something and bring attention to it, you have to keep up the drumbeat.
All of the Athens protests remain peaceful. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Sophia Stafford.
Athens fire crews are getting a major boost in their life-saving work. A brand new heavy rescue truck designed for technical emergencies and high-risk rescues is being deployed this week. Jordan Luzinski has the story.
Here at Station 4, these firefighters are gearing up for a new fire truck they're calling a lifeline for faster, tougher, and quicker responses in Athens, Clarke County. The public can see it for themselves at Friday's push-in ceremony. Rescue 4, a state-of-the-art heavy rescue vehicle built to handle complex emergencies from vehicle extrications to high-angle and confined space rescues.
Right now, the equipment's at the station, and so we have to determine our best guess of what equipment we'll need, throw it on the truck, and go. Now all of our equipment gets to ride with us, and we get to be on scene quicker, assess the situation in real time, and then be able to pull the equipment off, use it, and so it should be, better benefit for the community.
Rescue 4 comes equipped with specialized tools and equipment designed to save lives in situations that used to be far more challenging. The department says this investment strengthens not just the city, but the entire region's emergency response network.
It works like a toolbox. Like, we're going to carry all of our equipment on it. We got the ability to carry more equipment, more specialized equipment than we've been able to take in the past. We've kind of been limited on our resources, but now it's going to open a couple doors for us to be able to have kind of unlimited resources when we respond to calls and different call types.
The truck may be new, but for Athens firefighters, it's already making a difference, lightening the load of some of those high-pressure decisions they have to make on a day-to-day basis. Rescue 4 will officially hit the streets Friday, giving the community the added confidence that they can arrive faster and be more prepared when it matters most.
This week, the Dowry Street Government Building in Athens will be closed for an ongoing roof replacement. Some departments will be closed for in-person meetings, but will offer some services via email or telephone. More information can be found on the ACC website. Coming up after the break, more on the rising university enrollment in the state of Georgia.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far. A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
Your home before sunrise. On top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
If you notice that some of your apps or regular sites aren't working, you aren't alone. Several applications that fall under Amazon Web Services were victims of a global outage that began at 3 this morning. Venmo, Snapchat, and Duolingo are just a few of those impacted. It's no secret that UGA has a large student body, but this year was record-breaking. Grady Newsource reporter Ethan Wilcox has more.
To a lot of students at UGA, the campus feels more crowded than it ever has.
It is super busy right now. It's super busy during rush hours.
And that's because UGA set a record this semester for the highest enrollment in the school's history. Total enrollment reached nearly 44,000 students this fall, an almost 2% increase from last year. UGA is one of 26 institutions in the university system of Georgia, where the total enrollment has increased by 13%. The UGA Office of Instruction is working to ensure the growth is a smooth process with the Strategic Enrollment Management Plan.
We're not looking to spike enrollment as much as possible in order to generate more revenue, is that we're looking to balance between what can the community effectively serve and what can campus effectively serve.
One way the Strategic Enrollment Management Plan will accommodate over 6,000 first years is the introduction of a new dorm. It will hold over 500 beds. UGA plans to stagger the availability of freshman dorms, closing older dorms from renovations when the new one opens to ensure there is always housing.
So we go up 500 beds, Crestwell comes offline, then we go down 900 beds. Crestwell comes back online, and then we're back up, and then we take O House offline, and then we go back down.
There will also be a new 3-story facility that includes classrooms and a dining hall with new meal options for students. UGA is also working on expanding parking on campus, but some students are not certain if it is enough.
I think it's a great start, but I don't think it is enough. I think there definitely needs to be more on-campus housing. There definitely needs to be a lot more on-campus parking.
Borst says UGA also has plans to hire over 115 faculty members and are placing an emphasis on graduate students and transfer students. Reporting for Grady Newsource, I'm Ethan Wilcox.
You've been sneezing more than usual this fall. You're not alone. Coming up, why Georgia's warm weather could be to blame.
During high school, I hung with the wrong crowd and I never graduated.
I helped Santiago in many different ways, like all fathers do, because he always wanted to go to college.
I felt a little embarrassed to come back to school, but eventually, once I came here, I knew that it's for a bigger goal.
He was very dedicated, hardworking. He connected with his teachers. He connected with other students. That was one of the key reasons why he was able to keep forging ahead.
It was amazing to see him graduate. This was one thing that meant so much to him, and of course, it meant so much to us too.
With the help of my father and having my son, that was all the motivation that I needed. That support is everything.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
I think I finally found.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Mason.
Hey, Mason.
Got a new house. It's looking pretty cool so far.
A place that I call home.
I'm teaching Louise how to cook some lasagna.
It only takes a spark to make a fire start.
The Dutch. Thank you.
Study, please.
I think I finally found a place to make my own. A place that I call home. This place that I call home.
If you've been waiting for a true taste of fall here in Athens, well, here it is. I'm Grady reporter Lauren Wright, and here is your 5-day forecast. So you can expect clear and sunny skies this week. Starting off with Monday, we have a high of 72, dipping low into 45 degrees. Tuesday, we're at a scorching hot 79 degrees, and then falling below to 49 degrees. Wednesday, it's gonna cool off a little bit as we have a high of 71 and a low of 44. And progressing later into the week, we have Thursday, it's gonna warm up just a little bit to 73 and a low of 44. And then Friday, we can see partly sunny skies with a high of 72 and a low of 47. So while we have crisp mornings, the season for sniffles isn't quite over yet. The extended warm and dry weather is keeping pollen and mold in the air longer than usual.
Experts say climate change is contributing to a longer allergy season.
We're definitely seeing a lengthening of the growing season on both ends, right? So yeah, we do see a longer kind of late summer period as well.
About 1/4 of U.S. adults and about 1 in 5 children suffer from seasonal allergies. Reactions often triggered by airborne pollen and mold spores, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Pollen seasons last about 10 days longer than they did 30 years ago.
Warmer temperatures and rising carbon dioxide levels are causing plants to release more pollen, and that pollen is becoming more potent, keeping symptoms around well into fall.
I hate to say, just like try to stay indoors a bit when it's the worst and take the allergy medicines because it's not going to get any better. Yeah.
Georgians can expect this trend to continue as the state experiences warmer, longer falls. So while it's great weather for outdoor plans, for allergy sufferers, relief may have to wait until winter finally settles in. Lauren Wright, Grady Newsource.
After we return from the break, a recap on what happened in sports in the Classic City this weekend. I'm Lauren Wright. This is Grady Newsource.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding. Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
My Shiro doesn't always wear a cape, but she always has time for a hug, a smile, for going the extra mile. My Shiro stretches every dollar, puts in long hours, puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. When you're ready to retire, we want you to be able to enjoy it. It's time to start saving now. A free 3-minute online chat can give you the personalized tips you need to start boosting your retirement savings today. Visit aceyourretirement.org.
Welcome back to Grady Newsource. I'm Caleb, and I have the latest on sports. It was a big weekend here in Athens as our Georgia Bulldogs took on the Ole Miss Rebels in a top 10 showdown. After a slow offensive start, Gunnar Stockton found his rhythm, connecting with Lawson Lucky for 3 touchdowns, leading the Dogs to a 43-35 victory. This win catapults Georgia back into the AP Top 5 and earns Stockton SEC Offensive Player of the Week honors. Meanwhile, another Athens team, the Rock Lobsters, opened their season on the road in Indiana, sweeping their series against the Sentinels with 2 giant wins. While just down the road in Duluth, the Atlanta Gladiators kicked off their season strong as well, sweeping the Utah Grizzlies in their opening series. And tomorrow night, Hoops fans, get ready. The NBA basketball season is back with the 25-26 season tipping off in Oklahoma City, where the defending champs will take on Thunder legend Kevin Durant and the Houston Rockets. Right after, it's a star-studded clash in LA as Steph Curry and the Warriors face off against LeBron James and the Lakers. Coming up right after the break, Porch Fest. We'll tell you all about the historic Porch Fest being played on in a costume competition and Miss the Music.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
You're home before sunrise, on top of the house, the kids, and our future. The smell of your cooking is our alarm clock. My Shiro's day is never done. So let's start saving a little more now so we can feel prepared for retirement. A free 3-minute online chat can give us the personalized tips we need so we can live our lives to the fullest. Visit aceyourretirement.org
Julie was always a voracious reader. She'd carry 2 novels on an airplane because she'd read one on a 3-4 hour ride. And at some point, I began to notice that she would read a page and couldn't remember what she had just read, and she'd have to go back and read it again.
I don't remember much these days after I read, but less does for me, and I love it.
Hey world, I have a quick message. It's about safe driving. All right, let's go. Anytime you're driving, have the seatbelt buckled tight. Both hands on the wheel and your phone out of sight. When not in your hand, trying to text somebody back. Because if you do, your car might get smacked. The moral of the story, just put your phone down. The people on the road will stay safe and sound. Put your phone down, put your phone down. People on the road will stay safe and sound. Yeah.
On Friday, Luke Combs held a pop-up concert in Athens at the Georgia Theater. Following the concert, he attended and performed at College Game Day on Saturday at the University of Georgia's campus. Historical Athens celebrated their 7th annual Porch Fest, highlighting local musicians performing in homes throughout Athens with deep historical significance. Grady Newsource reporter Catherine Young takes a look.
Twyla Craver is performing for the first time at Porch Fest, an annual music festival hosted by Historic Athens.
I don't think it's hit me yet because I'm not nervous.
During Porch Fest, front porches throughout 7 historic neighborhoods are transformed into lively music venues.
I feel like it's such a great way for bands that haven't really performed in big places, or they're just small, or they're just doing it for fun.
While some performers might be new, the venue is anything but.
And looking at some of these houses going like, wow, this has been here for almost 100 years is really cool, I guess, to think about.
While you enjoy the musicians, Carly Brissendine, a student in historical preservation, says it's important to be appreciative of the homes hosting the performances. She notes of one home and its role in the 1930s Federal Historic Architectural Summary. Cobham is often called Athens' earliest suburb and was established when John A. Cobb first subdivided his farm and sold lots in 1834. Each of the homes throughout Porch Fest have a diverse range of historical significance, and each year local musicians contribute to the significance. From rock to R&B, Craver encourages any interested musician.
Don't be scared. If you're singing, just think about it that you're talking pretty. And it's not that, just talk pretty.
Catherine Young, Grady Newsource.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Last week, Brandon met a girl on a dating app. One day after work, he finally found the courage to ask her out. No answer. He started to panic. Was he being too pushy? Maybe it was too...
Hey, sorry I didn't respond. I was driving. I would love to go on a date. How does tonight sound?
Brandon tried to play it cool, but inside he knew. A girl so smart, so responsible. She must be a keeper.
You know, a lot of people say, when you're going somewhere, you don't want to look back. But I beg to differ. For her to see her father celebrate his graduation, it's the best feeling in the world. I can't lie and say it was easy. But sometimes you just have to stop everything and take it in. I looked at everything in a different light. And I realized it started with me going back and getting my high school diploma.
Jordan knows he shouldn't eat this entire bowl of nachos, but tonight he's earned that right. Because a few hours ago, in the middle of happy hour, he recognized a sign. Not from the gods or a bolt of lightning, but from a double heart, a kissy face, and a fourth ha in ha ha ha. That's when Jordan knew he was buzzed. So when it was time to go, he got a ride home instead of driving. Be a legend like Jordan. Recognize your buzzed warning signs and get a ride home. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
There is a
road laid out for me.
First night here, but Amy seems cool.
Leading down to the river. I am blind, but I need not see.
What do you think?
I know this road is there for me. If I'm really free, take me down to the river and walk.
Oh, I think we're live. We're live. Yes. Thank you to our viewers. Actually, we have, as you can see, two very special guests from Tegna. We've got Stephen Adams, who is a college recruiter, so he's here to check out the amazing talent that we displayed here today. And we have Laura Lynch, who's the WMAZ news director, and she's also a Grady alum. She graduated. Yeah. She was in the studio, but she was not lucky enough to have this beautiful newsroom that we have right now, right?
That's right.
And so they have been watching the show, and they've been taking some notes, and they will tell us about the things we did well, the things we still need to work on. That's why you're here. We still have some shows to go, and we need more guidance. So it's over to you, as we say on TV. Over to you.
Okay, thank you. First, thanks so much for having us here today. Again, I'm Laura Lynch Jones. I'm the news director at WMAZ, which is Tegna's station in Macon. We're a CBS station there. So I'm so glad to be with you here today. I was a student in this room many moons ago, and no, it was not as nice as you guys have it now. I first of all want to say anything that I say today, know that you guys are doing 10 times better than I was ever doing at your stage. So don't take any of it as you know, critical or anything, just suggestions for things that you can try as you go forward. Also, I want to commend you guys for being a team. So being in a newsroom is all about being a team. And that's the most important thing that you will do going forward in your journalism career, whether it's in a broadcast newsroom or whatever you choose to do, applauding each other, supporting each other, doing what the team needs when it needs to be done. That's how you will be successful in the business. And I'd love to see you guys cheering each other on for what you did today, and for helping each other out, kind of seeing the breaking news come together at the beginning of the show and how you guys are going to make that happen. That's how it really works, and you have to depend on each other. You cannot be a silo in this business, so that's really important. I think the first thing that you did really right today was, even though you were getting that breaking news in right as the show was starting, that you were taking the action and the initiative to do it. It's always about, oh my gosh, we can't freeze up because there's only a few minutes left. We don't get the latest and the greatest at the top of the show. So kudos to all of you for getting that information and figuring out how you were going to do it. So on that point, so urgent writing. That's something that there was some room for improvement today. So something that as you guys go forward, you can kind of work on. So urgent writing is telling people this just in, happening now, happening right behind me. We just made this call. We just got this. And putting that writing into everything that you do. So whether you're on the live shot and you can say just now, or here's what's happening, or referencing why you're somewhere live, or just a second ago this person just walked in to early vote. So that brings me into the moment, and it makes me feel like I need to watch any of the Atlanta newscasts tonight. I know that you guys all can watch those either on your streaming device or on your TVs, and just see the urgency and see how many times in a show, or really even in a 5-minute period, that's all you have, that they get that urgent writing, and then try to put that into some of your next newscast. That's something that at Tegna we really reinforce across our newscasts, and are looking for that. Another way that you can do that is if you're an anchor in the show, it's not just about reading what the reporters or the producers wrote at 10 o'clock this morning. It's going into it and saying, I just made this call, or we're just hearing about, or adding context to that story. Or we had a discussion in the newsroom earlier about X, Y, or Z. So kind of bringing yourself not just as the news reader, but giving context to what's happening in a show. Does that make sense to you guys? Is that okay? I want
the transparency, which is
yes.
important for us to show people how we do things, that we really try hard to get the latest, to check the information.
Or we're still asking these questions, or what's what we don't know, or we'll get back to you on that. But it makes people feel very engaged and involved in the process. So that's something to just think about. With the breaking news at the top, you guys gave context around the breaking news, like that you had that graphic, showing the charges so that we could better understand that. So anytime you have breaking news, anytime that you can give that, whether it's a map or a list of information or something else that's applicable to help people digest and understand that. So y'all did a nice job with that. I thought that y'all had great information today. I could tell that the stories were really well researched, and you really knew the topics that you were talking about. I just would have liked to see that come to life a little bit more with some more characters in the story of real people. We saw a lot of professors today, a lot of people who are experts on subjects. If we're talking about downtown, or seems to be always construction going on in downtown Athens, can we talk to somebody who's a restaurant owner down there about how that construction impacts their business? Can we talk to somebody who lives downtown about how this new development is going to make their life better? So just bringing the real people to that. There was a package off the top, and I thought we did a good job of, I think it was the one on the Public Service Commission. Who had that one? And we were kind of profiling a candidate in it. Is that the one? Okay, so I thought that you did a good job of making her a character. Like I was actually, I remembered her in the story because I felt like the writing was clear, and I felt like she was, I got to know her better than I got to know some of the experts in the other stories. So I thought that was a good job with that one. And then when we did the presentation over here at the screen, you had great presentation skills. So just a lot of pulled me into it, a lot of life to what you were presenting. You seemed very engaged with it and excited about what you were doing. Anytime you're giving a presentation like that, just be aware of how much text is on the screen. There was a lot going on there, and it was distracting from you were the most interesting thing on the screen, and if we'd only had a few words there, it probably would have illustrated the point better, because I was distracted from you by trying to read all that information that was on the screen behind you. So just something to think about. The weather story. Who had the weather? Is there the weather person in here? Weather. Okay. All right. So when you're doing weather, always think about what is the weather story. So you had a nice package, which I love that y'all brought some weather context into the weather presentation. But instead of just reading off the numbers, what is it that you're trying to tell? So kind of thinking about a thesis statement for your weather. So if the story today is dry weather continues, drought conditions worsen, then everything that you say, you kind of put some facts behind that instead of just reading the data on the screen. Because if I just want weather data, I can get it right from here, right? I can check out what the highs and lows are going to be. So just trying to tell a story around your weather. And with sports, what is the University of Georgia what is? Are you a sports fan? Why are you a sports fan? What do you like about it? Are you a big Georgia fan? Are you? Is anybody in here a big Georgia fan? Likes football? Okay. So I don't know about y'all, but I'm passionate about it. I love me some Georgia football. Okay, so I want that to come through in my sportscast. And when I'm watching somebody who loves sports, I want to feel that. So whenever you're doing it, have fun with it. Be passionate about it. Make me feel excited. It's the fun part of the newscast, right? We can talk about politics. We can talk about elections all day long, but it's, that's not like bringing the party. The sports brings the party. It brings the fun. It celebrates the community. It connects people in a way that the rest of what we're doing often does not. So don't be afraid to do that in your sportscast, even if you're not as passionate of a dog fan as I am. So, okay, but overall, y'all did an awesome job. Y'all are doing great things. Just try to incorporate maybe a nugget of something I said today, or that Steven says, just making your newscast stronger.
Thank you guys so much for having us. Like, it's honestly been a joy coming here semester after semester. Professor V, thank you so much. Can we give a quick kudos to our friend Lauren over here doing her first time producing? Kind of a tough job, right? You did awesome. All right, let's start talking about producing actually here. So here's one of the things I would think about. When you guys think about that pre-show tease, right off the top of the show, what do you think, like seriously, like open call, what is the purpose of that? Like what are we trying to do there? Just shout stuff out.
Get people to tune in for longer.
Yeah, okay. Get them to tune in for longer. What else? Ooh, make them curious, right? Like it's our first opportunity to meet them, right? Like the first time you see me, like you're sizing me up, you're like, what? Who is this guy? Like what's his deal, right? Like that's our intro to the show. So one of the things I want you to think about as we do those are making them super relevant to people's lives, right? Thinking about like, what is the viewer benefit of the stories I'm about to say? Like I think we teach like Porch Fest, right? And we kind of said everything that there was to know about Porch Fest, like within the tease, right? Hold something back, like give me something that's a tease, like get me excited to want to see that story later. So I would think about, if I was writing a tease, keeping them like forward looking, super relevant to the audience, and not give away the whole story in those teases. If you use that as a North Star, it's going to strengthen the top of the show. I love, like Laura, that we began with breaking news, right? You were simulating what life's going to be like in the real world, where your professor worked for quite a while. That was smart. My two quick notes on that. Your full screen graphic there was a lot of text on that, and I know we scrambled to get that together. You're going to scramble in real life too. If you're scrambling, still think about, is there a visual that we can do? Like Atlanta PD put out surveillance photos of the person we're talking about here. Now, you could have an ethics-based discussion here on whether or not you use those, or do you use those but you blur the man's face. We can have all those discussions for days, right? But the reality is, no matter what we decide to do, there were visual elements that we could have potentially used that you all had access to. So thinking about that as one thing, the visual side, but then part two of that is if we get a litany of charges, right? We get a list of charges that has like 10 charges on it, you could sum those up, right? So when you're in your first job or you're in your internship and you hear, and I know this is not the case here, but you hear somebody random out there is charged with like 9 counts of first-degree murder and 3 counts of attempted homicide, right? You just say, this person's charged with murder and attempted homicide, or whatever you're going to say, right? So just summing that up, like what is the actual thing the viewer needs to know out of that? Let's see. When where are my control room folks? All in there? Okay, that's fine. If any of you have any interest in doing that later, there was one control room decision I wanted to talk about, and it was when we tossed to Lori for the first live shot. We didn't have our source correctly routed in the double box, right? So we were spending our time there like trying to get the right source routed into the double box. What I would think about is it's going to take time to route the proper source there. What takes less time is looking down and seeing that Live View 2 was actually working just fine. We could have just taken her full. And then we troubleshoot the thing over here. So I love aviation. I love planes. And one of the things that they say when you're flying is when you have an emergency, your order of operations is aviate, navigate, communicate. Your communication is actually the least important in that order. Your most important thing is to keep the plane in the sky, right? Same thing when we're on air. Your most important move in the moment is to take care of what's on the air at that given second. And the reality is we could have fixed what was on the air with one button click in that second and then troubleshooted the problem later and gone back to the double box with you two in a second. Let's see. Lori, speaking of which, you had an absolutely lovely delivery voice, truly. Super, super natural. I just want you to slow down just a hair and we're gonna be like golden. Wanted to reiterate what Laura said. Sydney, the story of the public servants, you are super, super comfortable on camera. I echo what Laura said about the text on screen at the end, but really, really love your on-camera performance. Sophia, No Kings Package. Hi, how's it going? I thought you did a really good job of trying to keep it fair, you know, especially in some of these like politically charged stories where you got some people who think one thing and some people who think another. The easiest thing to do, document what's happening, right? Just who, what, where, why, when, how. Like, let's start there and go from there. Certainly, as people who work in journalism, right, our job is to speak truth to power, hold powerful interests accountable. But there are a lot of days where, like, we are just writing the first draft of history. Something is happening, and we are covering it, and we are answering the basic questions about that. I thought you did that well. The one piece of feedback I wanted to give you, we had a guy give the middle finger to the camera towards the end of that package. That I would have wanted to be blurred or not used. Just be careful with that. And then my only other quick note is when, and this goes for any reporters, when we're using B-roll, especially at a big event like that where it's noisy and people talking, right? Give me a little bit of the audio of the B-roll. Don't entirely cut that out. I think there were moments where you did have it, but towards the end, there were a couple of moments where it felt like the track was completely overpowering the B-roll. So just, if I see it, I want to hear it just a little bit too. But really, really good job with how you assembled that piece. Jordan, hi, how are you? Let's see, okay. So Laura talked with the group about like urgent writing. I want to play with, in your story and really all the stories around writing like we talk, right? Conversational writing. So we so much in this industry aren't writing for an academic paper, we're writing for the ear, right? We're writing for how we say it. So if I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, I'm just going to use you as the example for everyone, okay? Because it was true in a bunch of packages. In your package, who's your best friend in the world? Kaylee. Okay, I'm gonna play Kaylee. We're gonna role play for a second. So I'm Kaylee, I call you up. I was like, Jordan, what was your piece about today? What would you tell me?
I went and spoke with these firefighters about a new truck that they're adding to their station.
Okay, that is the energy I want you to have when you're doing the story, like in the writing. Because I think if you go back through the writing, and I'm cool if we like even sit down and go through any of it at any point later, I think you'll find that like, grammatically, all your writing was correct. Your sentence structure was fine. It looked great. It looked like something you might have turned in for like a class. I want you talking just like you'd talk to your best friend in terms of how you're writing for TV, because at the end of the day, you're gonna be the one voicing it, and we're writing for how we speak, not for how we type. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, fun. Awesome. Really, really good job though. I probably would have, producer friends, I probably would have put the Amazon outage in the A block. I just think the impact of that. Do you guys have Canvas or any other kind of stuff on campus that would have been affected by that? Okay. I would have, the two things I would have done, I would have dug on that because I'm sure there was something here that was impacted by it. I teach on the side of the University of Florida, and I know our stuff was all messed up today. So that would have been one thing, but also I just think it's a slightly higher story. But I was glad that it was in the show. Ethan had the enrollment pack. Where's Ethan? Hi, you're the student enrollment package. Kind of echoing what Laura said generally, I want to hear from more students, just some more like people. And then thinking about within there, it's also gonna make your B-roll problem easier. Because a lot of the B-roll for this, since it's about enrollment, were like B-roll of campus, right? Like that makes sense. And like that works, right? But if we wrap the whole piece around like one student who then becomes like the example for the whole thing, all of a sudden we can just get B-roll of that student. We can get B-roll of that student buying pizza, doing whatever, which is gonna help you when you're out shooting, have to shoot less of just like generic shots around campus and more of your character. I totally agree with Laura's feedback on Caleb in sports. And Caleb, it was funny because the second you got in here, I could just tell you're a nice person. Like the warmth at which you carried yourself when you like walk back into the control room, and clearly people in this class love you, which is great. Just bring some of that love and like that fun in the show, because it's not that deep for sports. Totally agree with Laura. Where's Lauren, who did the weather? Hi, how are you? Ooh, our pizza arrived. Is there somebody who can walk, like just the back door right there? The code is 0495.
And maybe another person, right? Because
Yeah.
they probably.
Yeah, that sounds good. All right, Lauren, first of all, you have a lovely presentation style. Did you do, like, what were you into when you were in high school? Were you like an athlete? Were you a singer? What would you get into? All of the above? Okay, so when you sang, did you sing in like the chorus at school or like? Chorus and the theater. Okay, oh, sick. Okay, so when they talk to you about singing, what do they say, like in terms of like breathing and whatnot?
Like for breathing, like
Diaphragm. Okay, so I want you to take everything you learned in high school on that and apply it to your speech. I want it just coming from down here, okay? You tweak that, we're gonna be like golden. Let's see, last but not least, where's Catherine with the porch? There we go, okay, Porch Fest. By the way, okay, what's your like background? How'd you get into journalism?
I was a yearbook kid.
Okay, gotcha. So did you take a lot of photos for your book?
Yeah.
Okay, you have a very good eye for sequencing and just framing and photography in general. What did you shoot the piece on?
I have a Canon.
Okay, that tracks. I was like watching, I was like, oh, that's good photo quality. Okay. So literally, thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. Honestly, like fantastic shooting and sequencing. And I love you starting with a nat pop and incorporating audio throughout that. You got a really good eye. What is it that you want to do ultimately?
I like video.
Okay.
I did PR this summer.
Okay.
Video rarely.
Yeah.
I like communicating pieces like this.
I love that. I mean, I don't know if you'll end up doing news, you'll do PR or marketing or something, but I really hope, to your point, it ends up something with video, because you just really have a nice foundation there. We're gonna wrap up on this part, because I also want you to be able to eat pizza, unless Professor V has anything to say. Yeah.
No, we have to feed those,
Yeah.
those adults. We have adults.
But we're also gonna stick around, so we'll do full Q&A, anything you wanna do, but I think we'll wrap up the stream unless you have something to add. Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Sweet.